Alright guys, we're gonna make Liam a new toy. We got him this little toy airplane from Target for $1. We're gonna make this more complicated, but I believe it'll be more fun. We got a DC motor, a switch, some extra wire, a battery pack for 2 AA's, and we're gonna put all together and hopefully it should fit in that. So let's give it a try. We'll begin by unbolting here and here, and we're gonna be able to split it in half. Now you got the 2 screws. Go ahead and stick a screwdriver, your nail, and now you're gonna split the case. Alright, just a little tip, it has a bunch of like snaps throughout the body, so it might be a little difficult, but this is how it's gonna look. Then the propeller can be removed. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna get some cutters and we're gonna cut this part and cut this part. And what I used was, I want to make sure that I have enough length so it doesn't interfere when I put the motor from here. So just cut the tip off, and then you can just verify, does the motor fit? And what I ended up finding out that it fits perfectly, and you go a little bit lower, but it fits perfectly in that little groove. And then now it fits a whole lot better. I still have to trim it because it's slightly at an angle, but now we're going to trim this portion up, make sure it clears. Once I cut it, you can just verify that you have enough clearance or you cut enough, so when you stick the motor, it won't hit the motor. And if done correctly, it should look like that. Then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add some hot glue underneath it, and underneath the motor and in this little groove, and then some supports on the sides. So this is how it looks like after adding some hot glue here underneath the motor and on the sides. Next, what I ended up doing some removing this bolt that secures this base, and I ended up adding some hot glue so I can put a bolt through there. Next, go ahead and cut this part off just so it's not sticking out when we put it into the body of the airplane. Once you have it off, now you can attach it. And what I end up gonna be using, I'm gonna remove this bolt from the propeller because it's a little bit longer and it has that washer side, and it'll give us a better base to it. And just secure it there. I left some space for the wires and make sure that it's still in a good position so the body clears the battery pack, and it does. Cool thing is now we can get the propeller and stick it onto the motor. It actually fits. Now you got the batteries hooked up, you can hook up the wires and test it to see if everything works. And as of right now, it works pretty good. Alright guys, now we're gonna add the fun part, which are our position lights. So we have the red that's going to be on this side, on the left side, green on the right side, and a white in the tail. And this is how we check which way the airplane is coming or going. These are position lights: red, green, and white. Now I'm using a 3/16 drill bit to make a hole for the light to come out from. That's what it looks like. And then we just slide the light from the inside. So it should look like that. And then go ahead and drill your last hole for the rear light. This one's a little bit harder just because we have this screw hole. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to secure everything with hot glue. So that, and that. Now I'm finding a position for the switch. I kind of want the switch to be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 holes here and here. They're 5/16, and then hopefully it'll be enough to get the switch through. Well, sorry guys. Drilling on a curved surface apparently is very difficult, and it's drilling a circle in a square shape is kind of difficult too. But that's as best as I could get, so hopefully you don't mind. So now what I did is I connected all the negative wires from the lights to one, and this one is going to connect to one side of the switch. Whatever was extra from this light negative, I'm going to use to connect to the motor once we get ready for that step. Now to make it easier for everybody, I grabbed all the wires, the live wires, the white light, the red light, the green light, and the power from the battery pack, and we're going to connect it to the motor to simplify that mess. And then the negative wire from the switch to the motor, we're going to connect to the motor itself. And then the negative power, we're going to connect to the other portion of the switch that's left open. And that's how we complete the circuit. Go ahead and put some black tape to keep the circuit separated, because if not, while you're trying to connect the other wire, you might touch the switch and might power something on, so just try to keep them separated. Now just secure for now the 2 switches, and then I'm just going to put a tape to just cover these 2 up. I'll solder them later. Now if we did everything correctly, this should power on now. Cool, it's working. All I did was just give everything a big twist. Now we can set everything in place and snap it all together. Now that everything's connected, we can start closing the body up and hitting the little connections. We are going to have some gaps on the front because remember we lost that 1 bolt. So just be mindful of things. We are going to use the hot glue gun and just put a little seam here just to keep everything close on the front. The back we're going to be able to use the 1 screw. And now that we got everything closed up, we should be able to power it up. Now I just added some electrical tape, and then I'm going to be adding some hot glue to the seams just so they won't open up in the future. And the final result is pretty cool toy.